Hey everyone, Laurel here, Minnesota, Zone 5A. We got some snow this week. It's just the weekend before Christmas, so I'm happy that we've got some white on the ground here. So just thought I'd do a little walkthrough, take a look at the garden. You can see we moved the sofa table from its spot over here. This is where snow gets piled up. And also we do tend to clear off the whole patio in case we get a ton of snow. We can keep kind of filling up this patio to get it off of the driveway. This is the bird feeder that got added for cat TV, because this window over here in the corner is where I would normally have houseplants. It's south facing, but we have a desk that I gave up to the cats, put a little mat on it for them to stare out, watch the birds, and they like the sunshine on sunny days too. Got beautiful sedum here sticking up. This is the Back in Black Rock and Grow sedum from Proven Winners. That's a 9 bark in the corner. Tiny Wine, 9 bark, still has some leaves lingering. And then that is a dogwood with the beautiful red branches. Man, it's tall. That one is Garden Glow. They're both fully mature. And then you can really see the bones of the honeysuckle here. Kinsley's Ghost honeysuckle. A few leaves yet. I did rake most of them up. And then this lawn chair I've had in the garage forever. I got it on super sale last spring. Wanted to put it out here this summer, but we didn't have enough mulch, or I didn't have time to put mulch in that spot. And I didn't want to have to drag it around or have it in the way of the lawnmower. Birds also, I don't know if you can see, this honeysuckle is like covered in poo. All those white spots on the branches, that's all bird poop. But they love landing on there and flying back and forth to the feeders. And I see the squirrels and other critters have been down in the snow here. Do see cat prints. I don't know where the food dish went since we got snow. We continue feeding the cats. I don't know if the shelter now is covered in snow. Maybe it'll be more insulated. We've got, still haven't had enough snow to knock all of the hydrangea blooms off. These are Bobo hydrangeas. You can see I leave all the furniture out here. I don't really have anywhere to put it, even if I wanted to move it. But I like the winter interest. This is a clematis on this trellis here. You can see both of these are on our laundry poles to string a laundry line between the two. I covered that honeysuckle. I suppose you could still access them if you really needed to, but I think my mom used them maybe for a year, but then don't really use them much. So a few things still sticking up. Looks funny how this melted on this chaise lounge here. But this is why I leave things up, because there's still a lot of interest in the garden. These seed heads, of course, evergreens, and I'm trying to increase the number of evergreens that I have. It's kind of been my focus with planting of shrubs. So I added that DeGroot Spire Arborvitae that's back there. That was new this summer. That poor Nova U in the back corner is just, I don't know, we'll see. But I might plant things differently if that doesn't survive. It's okay. It was only 10 bucks on clearance, so that is the risk you take. Love the hydrangea blooms, still visible. And then this juniper was new this year. That is drawing a blank now. Troutman blue juniper. And the Anna's Magic Ball Arborvitae, they turn bronzy color in the winter, but I like when they're covered in snow because then they don't get so much winter burn. We had a pretty dry fall, so I'm really happy with any kind of moisture we get. I like snow in the winter. I mean, I don't need like crazy. I think our average is around 50 to 55 inches a year here in the Twin Cities anyway. Last year we got like maybe 24 inches max. I don't even think it was that the whole winter. The year before that we got 90 inches. So, I'll just take a perfectly average year. Please, thank you. Nothing groundbreaking. I don't need any records. Just average winter would be super. No polar vortex slash freezing cold temperatures. We had those a few years ago. We always get, I mean, we've gone below zero. We always get sometime below zero. That's normal. But remember a few years ago, we had a massive polar vortex that it was like record low temperatures, like 30 below. Only for a day or two, but still, that's no gracias. Thank you. Here's the other Anna's Magic Ball. I see the snow has kind of split it open a little bit now as it melts. But you can see kind of the bronze color on the leaves. It's like a chartreuse in the summertime. But then it gets a little bit of golden bronze for the winter. And I'll go back to chartreuse once it gets warm. Really big blooms on that hydrangea. That is the little lime. Man, that thing grew like crazy this year. Love the grass is still standing. If we get heavy snow, those will fold over. But all the seed heads we've got that's in front of me there is a coreopsis. And then to the right of it is an aster. I also have some annuals up still that I just left. Some more sedum here. Echinacea. There's some sedum back there. Ooh, windy. Got the beautiful movement of that Hakanakloa grass. Like half of it now has been weighed down by the snow. But some of it still standing. I see once we get more snow, you can see a hydrangea bloom. They're not real sturdy, so they do blow off and get knocked off by the snow eventually. But I love the allium. These are Millennium allium. That's probably my favorite seed head to see in the garden. I leave those up. I think I like those even better than sedum. And then this is ornamental oregano. Drops of Jupiter also looks really pretty. Sticking up in the snow, you can just sort of see the seed heads. All the leaves are gone. And these are the firelight hydrangeas. If you have panicle hydrangeas, don't even worry about it if stuff breaks in the wind. I mean, unless it breaks like all the way to the ground or something. But like that broken branch there, that'll get pruned off probably even more than what's broken off in the spring anyways. So I don't really care if they break. There's a crooked little garden ornament there I just forgot to take out. And then the North Pole Arbovita. This one, sometimes when we get really heavy snow and then it gets cold where it's not going to melt for a while, I will come and like knock the snow off if I see that it's split open. Although now that it's bigger, I think it's less prone to do that, unlike when it was small. So we've got the garden bed sleeping. This bed is where I planted my garlic. Then I left some of those baskets and things up just to keep the cats and the squirrels from digging. This is all like marigold seed heads. I suppose I could still even collect seed, maybe. I did collect a bunch of seeds, though, in the fall. This is a trellis. I had it in the garage. I've used it for, it's PVC piping. I think my mom got them years ago to use with, as tomato cages. They work really well for tomato cages, but I put a net trellis over it for squash, and it worked okay. But anyway, I'm debating whether to keep using that or just disassemble it, so I just stuck it out here for the winter. And I do have, like, this is a zinnia. There's some cosmos standing back there still. And just leave them. I'll get to all that in the spring. Like I've said in my other videos, I crave doing all that work come springtime, especially early spring. I just want to get out here and do anything at all. So I like having stuff like that to clean up. These are all annuals in this garden bed here. And then these grow bags, I just leave them over the winter. Clean them out in the spring. They do fine. I'm sure they would last longer if I put them in the garage, but that's a lot of work. I don't have the space, and they were very inexpensive on Amazon, so I'm not worried about it. A couple more hydrangeas. There's another little lime there behind the firelights. I leave this garden bench up, and then a limelight hydrangea and all perennials over here. Looking very pretty. This snowfall was the kind that like stuck to everything, so it was kind of started overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and snowed pretty hard Thursday morning, stopped at about noon. or a little before, maybe 11, and then just real light snow after that, just a little bit, little dusting. We got maybe 5 or 6 inches, which is perfect. It was enough to plow and shovel, of course, but not enough to, I mean, it's always bad when you're driving in and it's coming down hard. It's no fun, but not enough to really cause a whole lot of mayhem. Just the usual mayhem, I guess, that comes with snow. You can see cat tracks. You see cats around. And we can go peek up front here. Go take a peek. You can see how close the houses are, why we have to pile snow. Kind of this angle, we kind of have to snow blow towards the neighbor's backyard. And then over here, we have to shovel everything kind of towards kind of the stuff that's in front of like the front step, and the air conditioner gets piled up there, and the rest of it we kind of shovel into our own backyard. Because there's just not enough space. Like having a whole lot of snow piled up next to your foundation and melting is not great. So gotta keep it minimal. Got the mailman tracks here. Let's see, this, it's funny, this garden bed was like not covered at all last year. It was totally visible, but it's going to be in the 30s all next week, so probably a lot of this will melt before we get more, but I think it's enough that we'll still have. I think they say like if you have at least an inch of snow on the ground at Christmas, it's considered a white Christmas. So, yeah, hiccup. So we should have a white Christmas. These boxwoods you can see get all piled up with snow from the front step and the pathway. Have to keep our sidewalk clear. But I think that's what protects them from winter burn. They do get kind of weighed down and they split open, but they've always, in the, it's been like 7 winters or something in this house, they've always popped back up, even if they get really split open. Like the 90-inch snow year, there's just nowhere to put the snow. I mean, it's like the ridges get so high from where you're shoveling and snow blowing, you've got no options. So we kind of have to pile them up on these shrubs. This juniper also has no trouble popping back up again. These were all mature by the time we moved in. I might be more worried and cover them up if it was younger shrubs, but yeah, things tend to get winter burn really bad because we have extremely low humidity and very windy days with very cold, mostly below freezing for pretty much the whole winter, just about. So they do get winter burn sometimes on the back, but you can't see that. These are little quick fire hydrangea. I like that these kind of have those like burgundy stems. I don't know if you can see super well here, but everything was just covered. It's so pretty. Here's the other bird TV for the cats here. This birdhouse that we or bird feeders that we added. You can see this yew really needed to be trimmed again late summer. This thing grows so fast, but I didn't get to it, and then it got to be too late where I didn't want to trim it and have it get real cold and damage it, so it'll get trimmed in the spring. We've got, that's a pretty texture, this kind of ferny texture here. That is the string theory Amsonia. It still has these cool long seed pods. This is a Proven Winners variety. Oh, look at the seeds in there. Very cool. I'm guessing those are sterile. They don't produce viable seed. I don't really know, but this is iris here. That sort of orangey, grassy stuff. And these are the seed heads. If you don't cut them, those look kind of cool sticking up through the snow. We've got a little sedum there that was newly planted, some phlox. Everything else is mostly covered. I have hellebore up here, which are technically evergreen, but they, in a normal winter, they just get covered by snow. Some annuals. We've got the barberry limoncello. That's the Fothergilla shrub bones there, and then some heuchera in this bed. And some grasses, and everything's pretty much covered in the side yard. So, yeah. Gosh, it's so bright out I can hardly see the screen. I hope this is showing up okay. I have extremely sensitive eyes. Any sunlight, I really can't. Especially with snow on the ground, like I can't see anything, even with sunglasses on, hardly. And this is the bones of the smoke bush tree. Looks very cool. This would be, if I had the gumption to do it, this would be really cool to floral wrap. Especially the trunk of this, or the multi-trunk form of this huge shrub tree form. So pretty. That would be really neat. With just floral wrapped in lights all the way up. But that's okay. Still looks pretty without lights. I don't do a whole lot. I just have Christmas wreath. We don't have a real safe outlet box out here for keeping things plugged in. So maybe someday I'll deal with it, but for now, it is what it is. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching my little winter wonderland walkthrough. I hope everybody has a great holiday season. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.